DC here. Hi, guys. Well, today is going to be my response to the Spooky University subject on fasting and instant gratification. Okay, to start off, I'll talk about fasting. Actually, I fast probably once a year, and for me, fasting has I would say two components. One is actually, yes, a religious one, where very often I have gotten before with groups, and we almost, I don't know, would you want to call it a self-help group or something? Maybe it is, because fasting isn't always easy, and we get into the evenings and talk about it. But I think actually one thing about fasting is that when you are doing it, actually, you're doing it to know yourself better. It's to know yourself better, to get to know maybe on a spiritual level. It could be one thing, but I'll get to that in a minute. I think up to a point, there's a question of, I would say, cleaning your body. And there's also probably even the challenge, can I do it? Can't I? I've fasted, usually it's 7 days. And it's a juice fast, which actually doesn't mean that I don't take any calories at all, but they're very restricted. I take some juices, just a few. I would say that I can't remember exactly now how many milliliters that is. It's probably something like 700 milliliters of low-calorie juices, plus at least 2 liters of liquid, other liquids. Let's say it could be oil, either be water or tea or something like that, but no, not sweet. So of course, it's, as you can see, it's very little calories. Now, when one gets to that, actually, is that there's a whole preparation that goes into fasting. It's a mental preparation, of course, because you're going to be quite a while without, I would say, without food. But then also there is actually an euphoria that comes there. I would say that builds up with time, because when you're in the fast, that you have a lot more time actually, and funnily enough, a lot more, a lot more energy. I know that seems paradoxical, but it's the case actually, because a lot of that energy that you use for digesting and so on is actually being used, it's not being used actually. Okay, here comes the guy who's going to check my train ticket. That's it. Okay. Yeah, so, like I was saying, that energy, which could be used, okay, so I'll switch over, we're in a tunnel. So that energy that could be used actually for digesting is being used for something else. Now, getting to know yourself is something that's actually very, very important in fasting. And it could be getting to know yourself, and if you're religious, getting to know, I would say, a bit more of your spiritual life. I've taken time in fasting for prayers, but I've also taken the time in fasting to think about things, to work things out in my life, and so on. Boy, do I have a bad hair day now. Yeah. And that is one of the components of fasting. Of course, there's the whole health thing related to fasting. I've mentioned that already. You do lose some weight, but you don't fast to lose weight, because otherwise, you end up with this yo-yo effect. Because if you've been a week without eating, of course your stomach is shrunk and so on, but after, you want to eat again, and you can have to be very careful. So using fasting actually as the way to lose weight actually is not, I would say, at all the way to go about it. So yeah, when I said fasting was contrary also to instant gratification, when I think about myself, of course, I think I'm like a lot of people. I think that when I want something, I want it now. And that is not easy. I can think, like, for example, if I, for example, a computer. I like to build computers. So if I built a computer, then I realize I need this part and this part. And, it actually costs money, as you can imagine. And that is probably the worst thing, instant gratification very often is very costly. And it's not a good example, actually, to the children either. I think it's not a good example for anything. I know, like, instant gratification is nice, But how often have we gratified ourselves and regretted it after? I mean, it could be through debt that one has to pay, and so on. So yeah, I mean, I'm not perfect at that by far not. Actually, I mean, I think I'm like anybody. I really loved instant gratification. So what can I say? I mean, I think it's a natural trait to want it now, to want it all, and I wouldn't actually say it's a good trait. I think the fact is that instant gratification has brought not only ourselves, has brought our countries very often to the edge of ruin. Okay, that is my take on instant gratification. Nevertheless, get back to the fasting. There's different types of fast. I mean, I know for different health reasons, of course, not everybody can make fast, I mean, in the sense of, going a week without eating and so on. But then, I mean, one can also think is that what is fasting in that respect? If I get back to what I said in the beginning about knowing yourself and maybe in a way knowing the way you react to consumerism and so on, or to anything, actually. I mean, when we think about all these clinics that are up around in the world, these are forced fasts. I mean, it can be, for example, the very good example of Tiger Woods in a sex clinic, or Amy Winehouse, which was in a drug, an addicts clinic, and so on, or other people, for alcohol or whatever. This is in a way, I mean, going into a fasting mode. The whole thing is that, are you doing it for yourself? Are you doing it just for publicity? I think if a fast or anything, is done, just for show, and some people do fast just for show. And actually, if anything, I mean, when I do fast, I try not to. I mean, my family knows about it, of course. They cannot not know about it. But I don't try to make it a show. I mean, at work, I keep it separate. I try to choose weeks where we don't have, too many, I would say, the question of meetings or, okay, I'll move over, we're out of the tunnel. I don't try to choose weeks where we have too many meetings or things that would force me actually to go on meals or whatever. I mean, I'm not a masochist. On the other hand, I mean, the thing is I don't like, people who to start asking unnecessary questions. But I don't, go all the way out and hiding it. What I mean by that is if somebody notices I'm not eating and he asks me about why, then I just say, But I mean, I try and keep it normal. In other words, I don't, make a big story. I don't try to brag. Although there was once a little story that came out. I had it in my agenda, and it was up on a beamer. And then, of course, all my colleagues looked at that and they said, oh my goodness, does this mean that we have to fast as well? Well, of course, then it got out a little bit, that, okay, the weirdo or whatever, this strange guy is fasting. Oh boy, I'm seeing the time go on. Okay, so I don't know, I'll have to listen to this vid and see if it makes any sense. Yeah, I mean, so in a way, you see, I'm doing this in the train. People are probably looking at me. Well, maybe. So maybe that's instant gratification. Everybody gets their few minutes of glory, and then, of course, I'm getting my few minutes of glory as a weirdo, in the train. Okay, so that is one of the Spooky University Alumni's topics. And, well, I guess that's it for now. So, DC is signing off. Take care. And have a good time. Bye.